Hi, beautiful people. It's Saturday afternoon, and I am taking some time to garden. And I figured I'd go ahead and film it so that you guys can see a little bit of what I do in my backyard garden. This is Cooking with Auntie Sonia, and I love for people to know where their food is coming from when it's cooked. So, this is a part that I've been doing with growing your own food. Today, I'm repotting some thyme, just a bunch of vegetables and herbs. I won't go into the details of each and every one of them. So I'm going into repotting some of them. And one of the first things that I do is, as you'll see in the video, I make sure that my pots, I went to the Dollar Tree for those who don't have a backyard. I have a backyard, as you can see, but I don't want to plant stuff outside for the squirrels and all the lovely animals in Florida to enjoy, because I want to enjoy. So it's out here on my back deck. And if you can pan the camera so they can see some of the different items that I have already planted. I have peppers over there. I'll be transplanting some of those. Cucumbers, eggplant, not eggplant, zucchini, green scallion, tomatoes, sweet basil, etc. I have some parsley. Over there I have some rosemary and a few different things. I have carrots over there budding. But today I'm going to go ahead and repot some items. And one of the first things that I do is I went to the Dollar Tree and got these buckets. So if you live in an apartment or someplace where you may move from, and I did this because I can lift the pots up and take it out into the sun later on and then bring it back in if it's not conducive to the temperature and the climate that I want it to be. So for your fruit bearing items, you want to make sure they get lots of sun, so that's why those are facing the sun. So what I'm doing is I'm going to repot some of them because the pots that they're in are too small right now. And first I put some gravel on the bottom. What I did, I went to Home Depot and I bought pool pebbles, and I'm putting them on the bottom of the pot, which allows for drainage. So I don't want to really poke a bunch of holes in the bottom of the pots. So this will allow for drainage. And then I'm going to put my topsoil, and mix that in with my composted soil, and then I'm going to put some mulch on the top. And the reason I'm putting the mulch is so that the mulch will help the soil retain its moisture. Alrighty, so started off with my pebbles, as you can see, and I'm going to add some dirt to them, but I'm going to go ahead and do my other pots with the pebbles in them. So this is my English thyme that the bestie got me for Mother's Day. And what I did was I took Miracle Grow garden soil and I blended it with my, inexpensive, it's topsoil mixed in with manure, and it's from local cows and so forth. So it's cow doo-doo mixed in with topsoil. And what I did was I blended that with the expensive Miracle Grow, and then I added to the top of it, as you can see, some mulch. The purpose of blending it is if you don't have a lot of money and you just want to do something inexpensive but still reap the benefits of it, that's a good way to do, because you're mixing Miracle Grow ingredients with the manure, and that's always, good stuff. That the cows eat the grass, and the grass feeds the dirt, and the dirt feeds the plants, and the plants feed the human. So, and then I added my mulch to it, and as you can see, this is the texture of the mulch. And I didn't buy the red mulch because the ground up wood, same as a red mulch, is a little bit less expensive. I'm not looking for decoration, I'm looking to retain moisture. And if you notice, when I was planting, before I put the thyme in there, I dug a hole deep enough as the pot that it came in, and then I put it in the ground, but I made sure that I put some water on the bottom of the plant so that my plant can work on its own. I won't have to water it every single day. And that's where you train your plants. And I know it sounds funny, but you can train your plants to go and look for their own excuse me, because out in nature they have to do it. They have to look for their own nutrients. So that's it for my time planting here. And what I will do is I'll come out on a daily basis and I'll talk to them. And I call all of them she because they're reproducing. And I talk to them and I let them know I'm proud of them growing and how they're growing, because I want to make sure that I have time for my soups, for my seasonings, for my fish, for everything that I'm cooking. So I make sure I talk to them and let them know I'm proud of them. I'm proud of how they're growing. I'm proud of how they're reproducing. And so here's where we're starting. And we're going to check in a couple of days to see how this baby is going to be doing. And I'm going to continue with the rest of the ones that I'm repotting. So these are my Italian oregano and my little flat Italian parsley. And what I did was I repotted them out of the containers that they came from. And you know, we're doing our patio garden, so it's not like we're digging the ground, etc. And as you noticed before, that I mixed the mulch in. I did the same thing as I did with the thyme. I mixed the dirt together, and one of the things that I was explaining to my daughter while I was planting them is that if you look, you'll see that, you know, this right here, the oregano is a little bit looking like it's a little dried out. And that's because on yesterday I went out of town and I came out and I said, "Good morning, babies," spoke to them real quickly, but then I didn't give them a good dosage of water. And she sat in the sun for a while. And it's just like when you move locations. So now that I've moved her into a bigger container, one of the things that I did was I made sure that I gave her a lot of nutrients, a lot of water to start off with. And in doing so, it helps to build her back up. So sometimes, you know, like when people move and they move to like a new area, they need that support. And that's what's happening with these young ladies right now. I've moved them to a different location, and what I did was I gave them a lot of water. I gave the roots water, and I gave the surrounding areas of the plant water. And if you notice, I didn't water the leaves because that can cause fungus and cause them to rot. And you can also get root rot too if you put a lot of water. So as you know, as you remember, the pebbles are on the bottom, the dirt's in the middle, and the mulch is on the top. All right? So this, I guarantee, will probably perk right up tomorrow. And once I'm done with the videos, I'll probably hit them off with a little bit more water, because if you notice, I'm kind of not sweating but blushing from the heat. And that's because I'm outside here and it's causing me to be, you see that? You see that on?
A little glisten,
A little glistening, yes, yes, a little glow. And that's from working with my hands out in my garden. And I'm enjoying this. It brings me calm, it brings me peace, and I encourage other people to do that. Because guess what? When you're cooking, you don't want to have to run to the store all the time. You want to be able to come out from your garden and take your kitchen scissor and snip off a little piece of parsley, snip off a little piece of oregano or a little piece of thyme, and voila, you're good to go. Alrighty. So this is the oregano that I planted half an hour ago. This is just amazing to me. And it was wilted down, and then I ended up putting it in the sun and giving it a ton of water just to let her know I was sorry that I had to move her and repot her. And look at her now. Look, the leaves are standing up. Look at the parsley, same exact thing. Leaves are standing up, shiny. My friend Vicky told me about using a little remedy, which I'm going to try on these babies here. These are the ones that I just repotted in my little Dollar Tree tub, Dollar Tree buckets. I just repotted them. There we go. I'm going to do some more. I ran out of pots, so that's my tomato that I transplanted out of that tub. See that missing space right here? That's where she was. So I transplanted her. I'm going to have to transplant some of these cucumbers and zucchini because they'll choke each other out. So we don't want anybody fighting for space. And these are carrots that I cut the bottom off the carrots and just dropped the tops in the ground. And here they are coming. Same thing that I'm doing with my sweet little lettuce and bok chow in there. So once I get those done, and here's my big girl tomatoes. She's the beefy ones. So she's doing her thing and growing up nicely. And you can actually put your sweet basil in the same pot because the tomato will kind of shade them a bit. And this is Laverne. She was mentioning how she did it with green onions. There goes my babies. I cut the tops off a week or so ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, and there they are. They're coming up. And here, this is my ginger. Colleen, I know you said you were trying to plant ginger, and that's them sprouting up right there. I don't want to dig too far, so there they go. And that's my lavender. I know Flo likes her lavender, so she may get a little piece. And I have some rosemary over here. See, this is the rosemary right here. It smells so pretty out here, guys. And I transplanted these peppers, just shifted some of them around in the pots. This is red bell pepper, sweet pepper over there, same thing right there. And this is a cucumber I transplanted. She's not looking too happy, but I'm gonna make sure I take care of her tomorrow and the following days to get her perked back up. So we'll check on her in the morning and see how she's doing. It's sometimes sad when you have to move, but it's all right. You know, sometimes moving is a good thing. Story of my life, huh? And here goes we call it fever grass, but you know, the foreigners call it lemongrass. And my aloe coming up, and these are my transplanted babies. Alrighty, so this is the soil that I had gotten. I had to toss my other soil because ant got in the soil. They didn't go in the cow manure, which was surprising to me, but they ended up going in the topsoil that I had and made a nest. So made a big old ant nest in there, so I had to go ahead and move them. So this is my Miracle Grow garden soil, so you don't have to read it upside down. And tomorrow I'll do some more planting. So guys, if you have any questions, let me know. See you later. So this is my lettuce that I had, the 3-day-old lettuce that I cut the top off, and it's sitting in water. So it began sprouting. That's looking good. That's the bok chow. That's looking good as well. 3 days in water, so it's sprouting. Look at the leaves coming up. The next one is some leek that I bought. I cut the top off, and 3 days again in water, and it's beginning to sprout. So these are going to be planted in pots. These are my beets. They are already sprouting. You see the leaves on them. So that's coming nicely. I'm going to attempt also to do some cream potatoes and some regular potatoes. So those are also going to be wrapped in a black plastic bag right there, and then I put them in a dark place so that they can begin to, you know, sprout leaves and grow eyes and so forth. So I'm going to tuck it under the bookshelf in a little dark spot, and then I'm going to try my hand with some sweet potatoes as well, and some Irish potatoes. The sweet potatoes are there. What I've done is I've cut the tops off of little bottles and little Wendy's drink cups, and I've set them in water to see how they'll sprout. And I'll pot them in pots and go from there. So I'll keep you posted on how they turn out. Thank you so much for watching, and come back to see how we're doing. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.